And welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the podcast that's going to blow your mind. Iron Mind. I'm the host of this program. I'm Adrian Rodriguez, and it's a pleasure to be behind the camera today again. We're going to have the episode number 20. We will talk about you train like a pro, but you live like an amateur. And that's going to help you understand that if you want to be a best CrossFitter in the whole wide world, there is some rule to respect. And I think most of the beginners and people that try to become professional forget about that living like an amateur would not help you having a career in CrossFit. CrossFit is one of the hardest sports on earth. Any mistake that you're gonna do, your diet, your sleep, your recovery, um, drinking, is gonna be a massive issue to perform to at the highest level. There is this sentence, very, very truthful of the topic: is train hard, it's easy. Living with discipline is really hard. And when you get that, when you start to understand that discipline is the main thing to succeed in anything in life, in sport, in business, in your relationship, when you understand that discipline is more important than motivation, everything would go well. Before we keep on rolling, remember a like, a share, subscribe with your friends. What would help the podcast to be successful at some point. It's always for me like a cool thing to do. I feel like when I do the podcast, I feel it's like my personal journal, and I like to share stuff, my knowledge, stuff that I know. At the moment, is based on CrossFit. Why? Because I think it's a cool topic for people that are beginning the journey to become something in CrossFit, and also getting close to retirement. And I think talking about what I learned from all those years can help a lot of people maybe in the sport. So that's episode 20. You train like a pro, but you live like an amateur. And that's something that I want you to understand. I put that in basically five segments. Segment number one is training versus reality. People train 5 to 6 times per week. I do that as well. I do that quite often, but quite often your sleep is terrible, your food is inconsistent, and your stress is quite high. And if I think about the sleep, you come back home and you decide to watch a series and maybe another episode of this series, and then you realize it's, I don't know, 9:30, 10 p.m., and then you have to wake up around 4:30 or 5 a.m. the day after. Well, that's not enough sleep, or it's not a qualitative sleep. You would like to go to bed quite early and avoid doing those extra episode or whatnot. Try to have a rest period before you go to bed, an hour before you go to bed. Stop screen, watching TV or whatnot. I'm a bad example for that. I am one of them. I'm this kind of guys who like spend a bit of time on the phone before they go to bed, and it's not the solution. One thing that I noticed when I was doing it, I need to get back to it. Putting my phone outside my bedroom, I was putting that on the kitchen table, um, helped me to fall asleep quite faster and have a qualitative sleep, which when I don't do it, I feel a little bit tired the day after. So quite often we don't sleep enough, but we train a lot. Then the food is inconsistent. You're going to do really good for 3 days, you're going to meal prep, and then suddenly, boom, you do something else. And that's me. I'm very good with meal prep, and on the weekend, I'm terrible. But the weekend doesn't mean you have to blow up everything that you've been doing on the week. Doesn't mean that you have to always go for a takeaway or whatnot. You can, first of all, save some money by not going outside. Second of all, you eating well is so much better than trying to go on a fast food or something that you like. And once a week is not a bad thing, but if you do it more than once, I think is where it's getting problematic. And the stress, high stress, and the high stress is mainly because of yourself. You compare yourself to other athletes, so you're like, I'm not good enough, or I'm not fast enough, I'm not fit enough, I'm not strong enough, and that creates a high stress level. Means that you would struggle perform, because if your brain is focusing on other stuff than your training or having fun or understanding your training, you'll get fucked. It's really hard to be stressed and perform in the sport. If you take me as an example, when I was playing rugby, very good player until the semi and in the final, and as soon as we arrived there, stress level became way more. How can I say it? Way more um, present, means that I was playing way less better. I was playing like shit because I was thinking about, what if I miss this tackle? What if I don't pass the ball in the right timing? What if I don't know, a lot of pressure that make me do everything. Then I was saying, what if I miss this tackle? Well, I missed the tackle. What if I kick the ball wrong? Well, I missed you know, like stress would never help you to succeed in anything in your life. In any, like, it can be your job, it can be your training, it can be your relationship. If you are stressed in any case of your life, it would not go well. Been trying this power red, guys. Don't know what the taste is, but it's actually quite yummy. I love Powerade. If Powerade one day wanna sponsor me, I'm more than welcome to be part of your team. Uh, there's the thing that I say, you can't out train a bad lifestyle. Yeah, you can train as much as you want. If your sleep, your food, or your stress level is too high, you would not perform. It's like basically having a F1 car and not doing the maintenance of your F1 car. At one point, your tires gonna blow up. At one point, your motor is gonna blow up. It's exactly the same thing with your body. So if you don't take care of those three little things, sleep, food, and stress, it would be really hard for you to be disciplined and really good at CrossFit. Segment number two is recovery is a real problem. Not enough sleep, as I say, not enough mobility, not enough process post training. Can be an ice bath, a sauna, rolling, trigger bone, gun, sorry. Deal week. We don't do enough deal week. I have not a lot of people that I know around me who do CrossFit that do enough deal week. Quite often is like I do one cycle after another one after another one, and I'm just gonna take 2 days off before my new cycle. Well, it doesn't work like that, guys. Doesn't work like that. Your body need a break sometime, and I think like people underestimate like the effect of a sauna and an ice bath. For example, I'm owning a company called Lapose, and they have a I have sorry an infrared sauna and an ice bath. And when I do it, first of all, my sleep is incredible. My sleep is incredible. Second of all, I have less inflammation in my ligament, and I feel way more ready to perform on the day without feeling any niggling pain. But recovery, it's a real problem when you are a top level athlete. I think they focus more on their recovery than their training. If you watch all those top level athletes, they quite often do mobility, quite often do some sauna and ice bath, quite often do some massage, see some physio, and I think like when you are beginners or you are getting ready to get in the professional world, you forget all of those stuff and you just try to do more and more and more and more and don't understand why you get injured and why your knees hurt and why your shoulders hurt. Well, because again, as I say in the previous episode, more is not better. Smart is better. Train less, train smartly, you be a better athlete. So recovery is a real problem, and it's not just your sleep. Is as I say, is like it can be a deal week. We need to do more deal week. It can be not enough mobility. It can be not even enough like help on the side, like physio, as Bastona. I think people should consider it that training is maybe training is a 40%, and all the rest is more important. Like all those recovery, your food, your sleep, your physio, anything would be like probably like a 60% of you succeed in training. If you forget about those stuff, you would do really good for a couple of months, even probably a couple of years, and then suddenly your body would give you back what you've done. If you don't take care of your body, again, it's like a F1 car. If you don't take care of the car would blow up, and is what's happened with your body. So I think recovery is very important, especially if you want to be a top level athlete in CrossFit. Remember, CrossFit is probably one of the hardest sports on earth, and yeah, you need to understand that training is not what makes you successful. What makes you successful is all around, all around. Segment number 3 is nutrition. Eating healthy doesn't mean eat enough. You need to track your macros. You need to track every week. Why? Because quite often I see a lot of people eating healthy, but they don't track anything, and they are way under what they should eat per day. For example, I was around like 2,800 calories per day, and then I decided to push up a little bit more my calories, and I noticed that my performance in weightlifting went from correct to getting very good. And I noticed that come from the food. It's not really coming from anything else. Is I'm eating more. I'm feeding myself a little bit more. At the start, it was really hard. I felt like I was force feeding myself a little bit, like when I was a bodybuilder, which is not what I wanted to do. But then your body is getting used to, and your stomach's getting used to, and you can eat even more. But yeah, food is super, super important. And it can be a supplement. For example, there is a polemic right now about NZ protein, whatever. It's a protein who was supposed to be made in New Zealand, and they find out that is basically an expired protein from Mexico that they import here and they resell to us, people living in New Zealand, pretending is made in New Zealand. And you need to check what you put in your body. I think when you buy some supplement, make sure you buy from the right company. And I believe the company I'm working with, which is Switch Nutrition, is an incredible company, and they always like have all the right to do everything. If you watch, you have like the third control party, whatever, I don't know how you call that, but basically they are legal. They do the right job, and you know what they put in there, and they don't put anything else. So don't buy cheap, buy qualitative. I don't know if you say this word, but buy with quality. Don't buy like, oh, because it's cheaper, I'm gonna buy that. Yeah. Well, you pay it later. You pay it later on long term. So segment number three is nutrition. Nutrition is super, super important. It's probably 70% of your success, sorry, in training. I think if you eat well, if you eat healthy with good quantity, you would explode in your sport, because you think you eat well, you think you eat enough, but until you check your macro, until you weigh everything, until you track, you would be shocked. You would be like, "Fuck! I thought I ate enough protein per body weight." No, you don't. Like, check it. Do 1 week with the right food, and you'll see you would be so surprised of how much you miss, how much you miss. There is another big thing in CrossFit is ego problem. You are not listening to your body, and that's a very important one. Not listening to your body would not help you. You're trying too hard instead of staying in the stimulus of the workout. And if I take the example of the client I've got in my gym, so we have different level. We have fitness, intermediate 2, intermediate 1, performance, and heavy. And there are some people who should be intermediate 1. They always going to try to do the heavy, never finish the workout, and then they complain. They're like, no, I don't understand why, Adrian. I never finish a workout. I'm so shit. First of all, it affects your mental health, because when you don't finish a workout every single week, yes, you can feel like shit. You can feel like you don't accomplish what you're supposed to do, which is finish a workout. But if you choose the wrong weight and the wrong stimulus, don't blame yourself for not succeeding. It's like, imagine me, I don't know, like if I take an example, I'm going for a marathon straight away, and I'm stepping all the stage of like preparing the marathon. I'm gonna hurt myself. I'm gonna be disappointed because my score's gonna be shit. But if I prep myself for a marathon smartly, I can do something good. And that's the problem with CrossFit. I think CrossFit, a lot of people compare themselves like in the room. Oh, this guy's doing that way. I should do the same way than this guy. Well, probably no, because the background of this guy is a different background than yours. So CrossFit is a big thing. I think people always compare themselves and always try to go heavier than they should. And I noticed that when I was young, I used to do that. I used to always say like, oh, I'm going to do 5% heavier than my one rep max. Maybe at the end of the cycle, I would PR. Now I'm literally keeping the same weight the whole time. See, if my back squat is 165, I'm based on 165 and not 170. Even if I want to reach 170, that's not my real weight. That's not my real percentage. And I think percentage, sadly, is it's under. I don't believe is the true realities for success on a lift. I think velocity and understanding your nervous system would be more important than working with percentage, because someday, I don't know if you ever feel that, someday you're going to go for a back squat, a snatch, or a clean and jerk, or deadlift, any kind of move. You're going to feel like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then you feel amazingly good, and someday you're going to arrive there, feel amazing good, and feel like shit because your nervous system is a bit cooked. And that's a thing that ego lifting and ego work would fucked up your training. If you don't feel like lifting heavy, do not lift heavy. There is no point. You won't be better by lifting heavy. You won't be better by um, overstepping a stage of your program. If you, for example, your level is here, is in the middle, but suddenly you want to go straight away to the top level, so intermediate 2 to performance or heavy, obviously you're going to be smashing. That's not how you progress. That's not how you progress. And is what I try to say to one of the client in my gym, who was like, "Oh, I've been doing a new programming and I never felt knee injury. I never felt that." I was like, "Well, because this programming is adapted to basically intermediate athletes. If you try to do an elite programming straight away from intermediate, you would not succeed. You would die very fast. You need to prepare your body for that. It's like if I tell you, and that's why it's interesting because if I tell this guy, okay, you're gonna run a marathon in 2 weeks, this guy's gonna say, I won't be ready. But for one rep max or whatever, this guy is ready every single day. So yeah, blame yourself. Don't blame the programming. Don't blame the coaches. Blame yourself. There is no one else to blame except you. And I used to be like that. I used to be one of this kind of like, oh, I'm gonna lift heavy every week, every day, and that's gonna make me strong and fit. And mm, what I get, it was more injury than being strong and fit. I tell you. One thing. So that was ego problem, which is the segment number 4. Segment number 5. The thing you should do instead. One thing that you should really focus on is at least having 7 to 8 hours per night, and that's non-negotiable. You should have 7 to 8 hours sleep per day. Like you cannot. People tell you, oh, I function so well with 6 hours, 5 hours per night. It's bullshit. Those people they lie to you, or they think they do, but their brain is not. Re- your brain didn't recover enough with 5 hours. So 7 to 8 hours is the strict minimum that you should have per night. And if people say, "Oh yeah, but I have that to do and I go to bed very late and I have no other choice," the only one you can blame is you. Because if you organize yourself, I'm pretty sure you can manage to go to bed early. Your phone is not as important. Your Instagram, your Reels, or your whatnot series that you are watching can be done at 9 p.m. For all of you. And I'm one of them. All of you. We can all do that. So do not lie to me. Do not lie to me. Lie to others, but not to me. The other one is 1 or 2 rest day. At least one full day where you don't do anything. Absolutely nothing. And when I say absolutely nothing, you can still do some mobility, but do not go for a zone 2, not go for that, a swim. No, just do some mobility, recover, eat well, do a nap, enjoy this fucking rest day. Don't do a zone 2 because zone 2 is the new trend of like, if I do a zone 2, I'm not going to be that. Don't do anything. Just take a 1 day off at least. And on your second day off, just, yeah, zone 2 if you want to, but don't do every day a fucking thing. If less is better. I promise you, less is better. When we were listening at the CrossFit game before, where they're doing 6 workouts a day, that was before. That was before because before they were non-professional people, and if you were doing 5 more workouts than the guys during the week who work 9 to 5, you would be fitter than these guys for sure. But now they are all professional and they are all doing less than you think. Promise. Uh, Number 3. So number 1, sleep 7 to 8 hours. Number 2, 1 or 2 rest day. Number 3, you should eat properly and with enough food. Eating healthy doesn't mean you eat enough food. So check and track your macros and everything at least for a week and try to see what you need and what not, and then from there you work on it. And you don't have to go from 2000 calories a day to suddenly 4500. You can build to 2200. You build slowly. Don't go from step 1 to step 10. You have different step in between. So your food is very important. And then the fourth one is focus on consistency over intensity. Means that coming at the gym every time, even when you don't want, instead of going like, oh, I need to go full send today and tomorrow I'm not going to go because I'm so exhausted, I'm so tired. Just be consistent. Is what I say to all my athletes at the gym. Pick and choose 1 or 2 workouts a week where you know you're going to fucking send it and murder yourself. The rest don't have to be a strategy, but the rest, for example, if I take my personal experiences, last week I tested myself a lot on a lot of workout. I wanted to hold on some touch and go. I wanted to hold on some broken sets. Yes, it's not as fast. Yes, it's not as impressive, but I try to build some endurance somewhere. So the stimulus is way different than everyone in the class who do some single rep, and I don't give a damn shit because I just try to do my own journey and focus on my own weaknesses and try to get the best that I can on every training. Remember, the gym is not where you compete. I know there is a leaderboard, I know there is a whiteboard or whatnot where you write your score on the card to try to beat someone. but that's not how you succeed in CrossFit. I think your own journey is the best way to do it. If, for example, I tell you today I want you to do all your set unbroken and you take more rest in between, it's fine. Just try to work on unbroken. Even if your ego tell you, yeah, but I need to beat this guy. No, you don't need to. Because you don't even know if this guy is doing full reps. Probably he's cheating his fucking rep every single time. So, like there is a lot, I think, that in CrossFit we can change to be better. And I think is probably some education phases that the coaches and the owner of the gym should do, explain to people how it works and how it should work and why people get injured and why they don't and what we can make to get better at CrossFit. I have so many people who want to be better athletes in my gym, but when I listen to their lifestyle, I'm like, well, forget about it. You won't be the best one. Like, or people who say, fuck, I wish I was an amazing gymnast or an amazing lifters, and they don't do any accessory or skills on the back that help them reaching that. We live in this generation where I think people hope to have everything suddenly. Hey, keep hoping. I guess that's not going to work. So if I repeat all the things, so we have like 5 basically segment. The segment 1 is training versus reality, training 5 to 6 times a week with a poor sleep, an inconsistent food, and high stress level that would never help you training. Just 3 things: poor sleep, inconsistent with your food, high stress. That would not help you. The segment number 2 was the real problem is the recovery. Not enough athletes think about recovery as the number 1. They think about the training and recovery will come later. And quite often the recovery come when they have an injury, which is a bit too late. If you can prehab every muscle, be ready for every session, take the time to do your 20 to 30 minute mobility before workout or before class. It doesn't cost you a lot. Just do it and you'll see you feel amazingly good. Going to a sauna and an ice bath if you want to shake la pose, or going to the physios once a week would help you progress and set some goals that you don't expect. 3 is your nutrition. Quite often we eat healthy but not enough. So check yourself, track your macros, track all your food, track your protein, track your carbs, everything. Track everything, try to reach a certain calories that you need during the day. I know for me, I should be around 3,900 to 4,000, even more sometime. And I remember when I started my diet with Bailey. I was at 2,900 and she pushed me to 3,200. And then from 3,200, we went up to 3,800. And it was fucking hard. Don't tell me wrong. It was fucking hard, but building slowly is the smartest way to do it. But don't forget, nutrition is probably one of the most important thing with your recovery than your training. Like nutrition would be a 60%, training would be a 20%, 40%, sorry. So make sure you eat well and enough. That's very important. And the feed yourself is like driving a Ferrari. If you don't put petrol in the car, can be the best car in the whole wide world, but it won't go far. It won't go far. Segment number 4 is your ego. That's a big problem. You don't respect the stimulus. You always try to go too heavy, and obviously you blow up. Trying like a game athlete, but not willing to be like one means that you try to train heavy, like what you see at the CrossFit game, but you don't try to do what the games athletes are doing, working on skill, working on strength on some period of like the year, working on some mobility, they don't just fucking send it every single day. If they were doing that, they would be taking a little bit of drugs, which they might take some drugs. That's fair enough. Segment number 5, what you should do instead, you should sleep 7 to 8 hours. Remember, 7 to 8 hours is really important for you. If you sleep that much every night, your brain, your body would be recovered and you would be ready for the rest of your day and for your training. 1 to 2 rest day. 1 to 2 rest day, especially one day where you don't do anything else than mobilize, stretch, whatever, just chill. Do not do any sports. And I know there are some people who need that, but once a week would never kill you. Just once a week, do not do anything else than just mobilize and stretching. 3, eat properly, healthy with the big amount of food. Eat enough. That's a key. If you don't eat enough, you would burn out as well. Remember, it's like a Ferrari. If you don't put petrol in a Ferrari, it can be the best car on earth. You won't go too far. So feed yourself well enough and with good food. You can eat healthy food with a lot of calories. And I don't know if you ever seen those reel on Instagram where they split the table in two, and there is bad calories and good calories. And if you want the bad calories is like three pieces of like thing, which good calories is five dishes. That is really hard to eat. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's really hard to eat properly and enough, but do it. Is a game changer. It's a game changer. And the focus number four is, instead of focusing on your consistency on your sorry focus on your consistency instead of focusing on your intensity. Be consistent, go to the gym even when you don't want, instead of going full send one day and then we don't see you for the next 3 days because you're too sore. So that's the key, guys. If you want to be a good CrossFit game athlete, that's your keys. um, Before I close up this podcast, because before I finish this podcast, I'm just trying different day, I'm trying different hours, I'm trying different time. Tell me what would suit you the best in the comments. Monday, 7 p.m., whatever. What would work the best for you to listen to the podcast? That would help me to do the podcast in the right time. And I hope you like it today. That was train hard, it's easy. Living with discipline is really hard. Remember, episode number 20. You train like a pro, but you live like an amateur. That's doesn't go well together. I always close the podcast with build your mind, grow your life. It's really important to understand everything that's happening around you to be able to be, first of all, a good person, and to be able to enjoy your life. I see you on the next episode. Episode 20 is now done. Bye bye, everyone.